What is going on, people? What's happening? Hope everybody's doing good. It's been a minute. I mean, it's been a minute since we did a NBA wrap up. So I hope everybody's doing good out there. You see it, we back, baby. I'm joined by my guy Eru on the ones and twos, and in the front of the. So I say on the ones and twos because Eru is my music guy, bro. I if y'all don't know, man, Eru is the guy. I swear I don't know. I know a lot of people that like music and know music. I don't know that many people that know hip hop the way Eru knows hip hop. So shout out to you, my brother. How you doing?
Chilling, man. I know hip hop because I am hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Ah, bars. See, that's what I'm talking about, man. You know what I mean? Don't stop, man. Bars right there. Yeah. So anyway, hope you guys are doing good out there. Apologize for the delay in the show, but that's on me. I'll be honest, man. Life is just I'm ripping and running, bro, with everything have to do and getting home later than I expected and cooking and all this stuff, getting stuff ready for the family. It takes its toll, you know, but the point is, this would have been a show like one of those days that a show would get canceled. Like somebody else might say, nah, I don't have enough time to do it. But no, I got to do it. We haven't done a show in a minute and we got to get back on the grind, get back to giving you guys content, man. And there's a lot of stuff going on. So I'm happy to be here and chop it up and have my guy Eru here. So that being said, I want to start off by saying, you know, congratulations to the Boston Celtics. They did the damn thing. You know what I mean? That we expected them to be there, and they're there. I'm a little surprised, to be honest, Eru. I don't know how you feel about it because, you know, I thought Cleveland might at least make the series interesting. I knew Cleveland wasn't going to beat them, but I thought they might make the series interesting. To lose 4-1, I mean, come on.
They're not, you know, they're soft, man. You know, they built their team. I don't know, I don't know what the thought process was, but I guess they figured they'll get the big man to protect Donovan Mitchell. They didn't give him a second player. Even last year in the playoffs, what's my man, the dude that used to play for Brooklyn? He was on their bench all year. And then he ended up being a starter out of necessity because they needed the extra score. So what did they do in the offseason? Nothing. They added like a three-point shooter because they thought that was going to beat the Knicks at three-point shooting. But they forgot that there's like 29 other teams that they have to worry about besides the Knicks. 28 other teams besides the Knicks. So, they get what they deserve. They're going to have to figure it out. They're going to have to do something. If Donovan Mitchell's that guy, they got to have to figure it out.
Agreed. So now I've heard, well, I don't know what's true, what to believe. Donovan has already come out and he said whatever people are talking about is most likely not true. But he said that, well, they were saying that he is looking to weigh his options out because he wasn't happy with the, I don't know what the words were. It was something about having to do with immaturity. Or, I don't know if they mean immaturity like clowning around, or do they mean basketball maturity like having smart, heady guys that can take the next steps to get to the. I don't know. They didn't really clarify. But even whatever they said, Donovan shot it down. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's true, though. So
yeah, I believe it.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, it has to do with them not being ready. See, like what's the other guys? I see somebody just put LeVert. LeVert was the other scorer that they had to upgrade to a starter in order to compete with us. But the other one is their centers. They had the young guy and the other one that was with Brooklyn. I don't care about their names because these guys are like just way too soft. Guys that especially the dude from Brooklyn, he was already an all-star, so he has these this experience and stuff, but for all the experience that he has, they still get in front of the media and they start talking about, oh, we're learning, we're not strong enough, this, that, and the other. They have all these excuses and stuff. So I think that's where it comes from, the immaturity. Like if you look at the Knicks don't talk like that. Everybody's ready. They take care of their own square. I think Cleveland has issues with guys not taking care of what they're supposed to take care of.
Hmm. That makes sense to me. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, apparently, I mean, now it's a choice between keeping Donovan or Garland.
Right.
So that's a. I mean, I don't know how. Like, I don't know how you feel about that. If I'm Cleveland, I'm like Donovan, Garland, who doesn't always show up. Although I will say, when Donovan's not there, Garland plays better.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe it is a choice. Maybe it is a decision. He's definitely a little younger. But the thing is, like, if you surround Donovan Mitchell with talent, you know he's going to give you results.
Right.
Um, you don't know that necessarily if they build the team around Garland. If he's going to, like, once there's other decent players around him, is he going to step up and be the leader of the team, or is he kind of going to play the backside like he's been doing with Donovan there? That's actually a tough decision.
Yeah, it is. They basically do the same thing, to tell you the truth. When Donovan Mitchell, excuse me, when Garland was out, Donovan Mitchell was the point guard. He basically was the full ball handler, where he would legit was the point guard, and they played well. He was facilitating, scoring, doing whatever they need to do. But the same thing, like you said, when Garland's out there, he does the same thing. He elevates his game, he gets everybody involved and stuff. But they have to make a decision on that. The players I was thinking about was Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. Two guys. One guy is Evan Mobley is an up and coming power forward, but he's still on this thing like, yeah, I'm learning. I'm still young. Yeah, every time they talk to him, that's the energy that he gives up. Jared Allen, he always like talks like, oh, I don't know what to do, kind of thing. He always has that kind of energy. So you're not gonna win like that. They went and got Matt Strus there. That was for us. They got Matt Strus because he's a Nick killer in Miami. So I mean, their front office is a bunch of suckers too because they don't know how to build a team. They're building as a reacting kind of franchise. So we've been
Mhm.
there before, reacting to other franchises what they're doing. So that's what Cleveland's doing, man. So they're gonna have to figure it out. Donovan Mitchell. I don't know if he's the answer for them, but if he's going to be the answer, he needs another guy. They just can't function without another offensive player there for them.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they definitely. It looks like they need another guy right now with Donovan there, with Garland. Looks like they
Yeah,
still need another guy over there.
yeah.
So yeah, it's a good point. That's definitely a good point. Speaking of Donovan, just real quick, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, we'll talk. I'm sure we'll talk about it from a Knicks standpoint too. But like, is he the hottest commodity that's going to be on the open market this off season?
I don't know. What do you think about Donovan? When I see Donovan Mitchell, I see him as a good player, but I don't see him as like somebody that's like a needle mover. That's the reason why we didn't trade for him. We
Hmm.
held our chips. We ended up trading for OG, Bogey and Burks, and people was like, "Oh my God, we could have got Donovan Mitchell for that." But at the same time, if we was to get Donovan Mitchell, was he the guy that was going to bring us over the top? Because if you look at the current roster, Dante DiVincenzo and Deuce McBride, they're holding that spot down already. So we don't necessarily need that player because we have those two guys at the current moment right now. So going forward, like, are the Knicks looking in that direction? To add a guy smaller or just as the same size as Brunson when we got guys like that already on the team? I don't know.
That's another good question, man. It's one of those, like, you don't know. Like, I mean, I could see that maybe like a team like the Knicks, if they, because right now, I mean, when you look at the team, even with guys out, they're still a really good defensive team,
Yeah,
compared to a lot of other defensive teams or teams in the NBA. But then when you add the guys that we know are not healthy, then we become something different. But so the only question that has always still been there is scoring. Can we do enough scoring? Because let me tell you something. It seems like we can, but we also got to face facts. We don't know this is really great for right now. It's beautiful to watch. It's remarkable. That's why it's record setting.
Right.
But Brunson dropping 35 plus, 40 plus, in games. Can he do it? Yeah. I don't know if you can depend on him doing it every night. Like going forward, it's great that he's doing it now, but if he doesn't give you, say if Brunson just has an average game, like 25 points per game, it's fantastic for an NBA player. What if he just gave you around 25 to 28? Is that enough to win? Because we're used to him giving us 40 points and maybe even a little bit more. That's an extra 15 points or so that's coming from him that we're not getting from somewhere else because he's doing it. But can we get that from somewhere else, or will we still be missing it? So that's an example of like maybe you need more scoring. Do you need necessarily a Donovan Mitchell? Do you need like a tier one type of guy to bring it? I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing. Could you imagine if the Knicks were able? See, that's the other thing with the money. But if they were able to retain and hold on to a lot of this core, have Donovan Mitchell in the starting lineup, and then have Dante and Deuce coming off the bench or whoever else you got, the Knicks would be a really tough team to beat, in my opinion. But I know that we might lose a little something, defensively having Donovan and Brunson back in the front court, backcourt. But front court. Yeah. I don't know. I always confuse that. Whatever. You guys know what I mean. um,
It's interesting though, because I mean, just to go talk about the other teams too. You do a quick glance, like say like the Bucks. They put all their chips into Damian Lillard. That was a mistake. They probably should have kept a neutral point guard, a point guard that could just like, he could score a little bit, whatever, but not really dominate. And then have a Donovan Mitchell on the side instead of having him run the point. Get it? You know what I'm saying?
right.
Just looking at
Right.
other teams. I'm looking around now. I just don't see a team that Donovan could go to.
Well, I mean, remember, there's always, I don't know, is there? I mean, because I'm always thinking about Miami, bro.
Yeah.
Because Miami's always looking to add something if they can work it under the cap. Now they're already looking like they may be a little iffy when it comes to Jimmy Butler, but Jimmy
Right,
Butler is making like 50 million or he wants 50 million, whatever it is, but he's making good money.
right.
Donovan is actually making less, I think, than that. Um, I mean, of course, now he may get a big payday, but but if you're going to pay somebody, would you rather pay a younger player in Donovan Mitchell than an aging Jimmy Butler? So they might pull the trigger on something like that.
That that's a good
Um,
one. And then they also got Jimmy Butler's replacement in Javier, whatever his name is, the guy that hurt Julius.
yeah,
Bring
yeah,
him.
yeah,
He
yeah,
could be their small forward and then bring Donovan in. That'd be interesting. I'm with the smoke, let Donovan go to Miami. That way we have a rivalries. I miss rivalries, man. The action in the NBA right now. I love the Knicks fighting against the different teams. I like that Boston fans were giving us strays F Knicks, outside the arena. You know what I'm saying? So I like it, man. So if Donovan can make his way to Miami, that's good for basketball.
yeah. The other thing too is who's that I'm thinking of? Oh, Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Philadelphia could be in play. They've got some stuff they can move around. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just interesting. I don't I'm with you because I know a lot of people are a little skeptical right now because you've seen the Knicks do well without him, and you've also seen that his teams are not really doing well with him. So, but my whole thing is I always look at it like if he comes here, we got Jalen Brunson. I don't expect him to do what he hasn't been able to do other places, but we got Jalen, who I know can do it. And if you put more talent around him, it's even better. But I'm just a little, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little worried about him going somewhere else that is in direct competition to us.
Yeah.
Because if you put if somehow Philadelphia was able to keep he's not going anywhere, but keep Maxey and Embiid and bring Donovan Mitchell over there, now they're cooking.
It's a lot of offense, man. But they got to play some
Yeah,
D.
it's the same thing. They gotta play some D, so they gotta figure that out. But we'll see. That's gonna be a story to watch in the off season. It's definitely gonna be fun.
Yeah,
But
absolutely
we'll
fun.
see. So we know that Boston is obviously on their way to the Eastern Conference Finals. They're awaiting the winner of Indiana and the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks lead the series currently 3-2, with Game 6 tomorrow night in Indiana. So the question is, will the Knicks be able to close out the series and meet Boston in the Eastern Conference Final, or will Indiana figure out a way to prolong this series and take it to a seventh game back at Madison Square Garden? What's your thoughts on that, brother? And you know what? Actually, save that. Before I get to your thoughts, I should say this, because there's been a lot of haters and a lot of naysayers about the Knicks and what they should would do and what they could do after getting blown out in that last game in Indiana. And so going into Game 5, we talked about it on Still Knick Fans on our Monday night show about what the Knicks should do in order to take care of business and get that victory and set us up to be up 3-2. So let me just throw a little something out there that my guy John said. John, what's your thoughts? Tomorrow we get it done. What's happening, brother?
Yeah, listen, it's a must win. It's a must win for our New York Knicks. It is what it is. If you lose tomorrow's game, you can call this series over, because it's going to be extremely difficult to win two in a row. So, um,
Four in the ECF of '94, John.
no, I get that. But for this Knicks team that's depleted the way we are, it's going to be very difficult to make that the outcome. So for me, this is a must win tomorrow. Tomorrow needs to be our statement win to show every news station, every outlet out there who has pretty much overlooked the Knicks for this series and stated that it's over. This is our statement win. They need to show and prove tomorrow. And I think it starts with Jalen Brunson, not only being a leading scorer, but also a primary facilitator in this game tomorrow. And expect a lot of great activity and motivation from Hartenstein and Josh Hart. You know what I mean? And for me, it's the bounce back game for Deuce, because we've been waiting for Deuce to actually get his off, and he hasn't gotten anything off this entire series. So I think we're going to see a lot of Deuce tomorrow, and I'm excited for tomorrow's game, man. And it's a definite watch. I'm not missing it.
So that was what John said going into Game 5, and in the end, you saw the results that the Knicks wound up carrying out everything that he had mentioned there and more. Like the Knicks played damn near it's tough to play a perfect basketball game, but considering everything and the group of guys they had to go with, and how many guys are out, their offensive intensity, their defensive intensity, their rebounding, Knicks played incredible. What was your thoughts on that game before we get into tomorrow's game and the expectations with that?
Well, even before that, the game at the end of Game 4, when they were leaving the court, you saw Jalen gave a little stray. It's a long series, and just kept it. He said long effing series as he was
Right.
going to the locker room. So once he said that, like if you know the Knicks, we know the Knicks. We watch every single game. We've been watching this guy, Jalen Brunson, for like 2 seasons now. We know what these guys are capable of, man. So once he said that, like that's why I didn't put out any content, because I didn't want any emotion to come out. I love the way John is a boxer. Like, if anybody doesn't know, so stay, keep your hands up where he can see them. You know what I'm saying? But John, he has that way about him that's super calm and chill. I like that about John. You know what I'm saying? So he has the same energy that Brunson gives, man. So entering that second game, just to talk about the context of it, in Game 5, they started it very methodically, the Knicks. And it came down, Brunson got to his spots, bumped the guy, turn around, jump shot, whap. You know what I'm saying? It was very slow. They weren't forcing anything. So once you started happening, you can kind of see that the Indiana Pacers' minds were getting a little fried a little bit. Fast forward to the end of the game, we beat them by 30. So them beating us by 30 looked way different. They were so like, oh, going crazy, talking like, pointing to DiVincenzo, saying he can't guard me and all that type of stuff. When the Knicks did it to them, we didn't do that. But they resorted into playing dirty and stuff like that, and the Knicks stood up for themselves. So I just think, for all that I'm saying here, I just think that Game 6, I believe that we got these guys in a frying pan right now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm expecting the Knicks to come out and just finish the job. It's not going to be easy, But I just think that once the going gets tough, and they look at the scoreboard, and the Knicks are only down by 4 or 2 possessions, and we still there. I think when it comes down to the fourth quarter, I think we're just gonna finish these guys.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I agree. I think that's the case. I was very confident going into this game 5 because I felt like, and what to your point, noticing how Jalen Brunson was upset at the end of that game and what he was saying because, they weren't unfortunately they do have a lot of young guys over there in Indiana.
Right.
And this is how you learn how to carry yourself in a series because the bottom line is, you can say that we blew you out by 32 points, whatever it is. But if you're a gracious winner, the other team can just say, damn, we got our butts kicked and we got to be better. They can be mad at themselves, right? But when you start hamming it up and acting a certain way, dancing or saying stuff and getting in people's face and pointing to the fans and telling them, no, this guy can't guard me and doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
All you doing is getting the other team. They're not even mad at themselves anymore about how bad now they're mad at you. Now, no. Now, next game, we can't let y'all get off. We got to make sure that we teach you a lesson. That's why a experienced team, unless you're some experienced teams do that too, but they got to be really good. Like a LeBron James team back in his heyday, they would still dance. They didn't care who they would still have fun and clown, but they were that damn good. So you can get away with that. When you're a Pacers team that offensively you're good, but you have some defensive limitation, you can't be, giving the other team bulletin board material. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
All right, whatever.
Yeah, they gotta act like they've been there before. These guys, I was on you guys were watching the Morning Brew show, right? One of the guys, I think it was Bully, he might have said something to the effect that they're like I lost track of what I was gonna say, but just basically like the playing tournament. He mentioned the playing tournament. They said, wow, this is the first time this is the biggest game I've ever been in. But that was the playing tournament. You know what I'm saying? So I mean these guys, I guess it's new to them, but even though it's new to you, like the Knicks, a lot of this stuff is kind of new to us too. Our guys haven't been winning all this time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's kind of new to us too, but it's the mentality. You have to pretend like you've been there before.
Right.
Like people say, you gotta dress the part, you gotta have the mentality, you gotta this, then whatever. You have to put yourself in the position. So you have to manifest it for yourself, and say, okay, that you can picture yourself winning, so that's what you have to be. You cannot, allow, human emotions and stuff like that to get you. You have to focus on the task in hand and how to get there. So I think that's what the Knicks have up on all the teams right now. It's just kind of like an old school mentality. I think it's great.
Yeah, and it's very important to carry yourself that way. And once again, so a lot of people point to different things like why are the Knicks playing this well? Why are they so special? It's one because they've obviously, gotten a nice level of, smart basketball players with good talent, right? That they may not have had that type of talent before. They've had talent, but they haven't had this level of talent team wide, right? They've also got a little bit more height. They were always the smaller team, so they got a little bit more height. They've also got even better defensive players that were added. Now, of course, they're out right now, but it's just all about the mindset of the team itself and how that changes. And not to mention the fact that they got these Villanova boys. Okay, it is what it is. These Villanova guys, they're all money, they're all business. They go out there and they do the damn thing. Even Josh Hart, who's a clown, he jokes around, but when he's on the court, of course, we know he makes some turnovers because he tries to do too much sometimes. But as far as his effort and what he's trying to do out there, he's a beast. Then you got Dante DiVincenzo, who, he's all business. And then you got Jalen Brunson, who's super all business. So these guys have changed the way we approach basketball games and their mentality. And that's part of the reason why they can come back. Because when guys get, too full of themselves or have too much fun out there and they think the game is over, those are the teams that lose, right? So when the Knicks, get into these situations where they're going down in the first quarter or they're down in this going into the second half, the reason why they come back is because they still keep it serious. Like they're not always joking around either. They're not too high, they're not too low on either angle. So that's a big makeup to these guys, and that's the reason why the Knicks are what they are.
Yeah. the Knicks respect the game too. I always big thing about that. When you get on the basketball court, you got to respect the game. A lot of people they get into the court, they automatically start arguing. Automatically, I'm talking about just me and you playing pickup and stuff like that. They just start arguing right away. It becomes like an ugly game. But my thing is when you step on the court, anybody can get hurt at any time. Nobody's professional. I'm talking about on like just calling necks at a basketball court. Like like nobody's professional. Nobody's getting paid. We're just playing out of the love of it. So when you step on the basketball court, like you could tear your ACL. You know what I'm saying? Anything like that on just for free. So
Right.
when you step on it, you have to think of it as a dojo. At least that's how I grew up, and that's how the older heads, brought it to me. The game when I was playing, they taught it to me that way. So I think the Knicks have that. This generation, they don't play outside. So now when you see them in these courts, all they doing is mimicking the stuff that you see on YouTube. On YouTube, you see a lot of disrespect, in these basketball courts. Everybody's like pumping their chests and cursing each other out and throwing stuff and touching people the ways they shouldn't be touching them. In the basketball court, that's very disrespectful. You're destroying the integrity of the game. So, DiVincenzo said it best. He was like, in the NBA, nobody's gonna fight in the NBA. So, man, let's just play hard and let's just play basketball. So, as long as they keep it like that, everything is good. And I think the Knicks, like you said, you're saying the same thing. Just like the Knicks respect the game. I just think that's where we're at right now with that.
Yeah, I think that's the case, bro. I think that's really it's really important to what they do and why this Nick team is different from teams in the past. So that being said, what are your thoughts on tomorrow's game? Do you think the Knicks can close out the series, or do you think this might go 7?
I want to close it out. I think they could close it out. I think Indiana's going to try to do the same thing, and I just think the Knicks are going to be right on their heels the whole game. And then I think eventually we're just going to power through and win the game.
I agree, bro. I agree. I definitely think so too. I think that the Knicks not only was that game 5 a statement game, it was better than I thought, to be honest, bro. I thought that they might go out there and stop playing around. Like I thought they might get a little bit more physical with them and maybe win by 10 points or something like that, make it a lot more comfortable. I had no clue they were going to go out there and drop a 30 piece on these boys. So everything you did in game 4 is nullified. You put up 32, we put up 30 on you, like real quick. Next game. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
So
amazing,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, man.
Welcome to the playoffs, bro. Welcome to the playoffs. This is not for the faint of heart, man. You think you're showing up, you think you're gonna crack a team and they're not gonna respond. You know what the media. Shout out to the media. All these guys are former NBA players, right? So they still speak from a perspective like, they have the better team, because they have the better players, or they have this guy. But the Knicks are the team that won 50 games, man. We are the one that are the second seed in the East. And it's for a reason. It's not because the whole season was a fluke. You know what I'm saying? The whole season, like out of all the injuries that we had, we actually traded like one third or like whatever you want to say of the rotation. We traded RJ, we traded IQ. You know what I'm saying? We traded these guys away. Grimes was the starting shooting guard. All this stuff happened throughout the season, and then we had injuries after the trades, and we still won 50 games, bro. So this is not a fluke. At some point, like history will determine, and once we look back on it, and then we're gonna see these same talking heads, and they're gonna pretend like they weren't saying all the stuff that they were saying during the time, man. So,
yeah. No, I'm bro. I'm with you. That's a fact. I mean, that's what it is. It's the truth. It's the truth.
Yeah.
So, moving on, there are other series going on, folks, and one is going on tonight. Let's see. Let me just see where we're at with that. What's that going on? What's looking like? Two. All right. So tonight, Minnesota is playing Denver. Denver leads the series 3-2. Minnesota is up 51-29 in the second quarter with about 3 minutes left. So that's very interesting. I mean, those two teams are very. I don't want to. I mean, I guess they are. I don't want to say they're evenly matched because they're different. But yeah, I mean, I guess so. You know what I mean? That's if there's ever a game 7, like a 7-game series, that's it. Like you could see it. I'm actually really surprised, bro, because Minnesota looked like they couldn't be stopped. They were on another level, and I thought that they were gonna run the town with Denver, but Denver has showed that there's a reason why they were the champions. I'm still shocked at how good they're playing, considering how Minnesota was flying high. But yeah, man. So, what's your thoughts on this series between Minnesota and Denver?
It's like a kung fu fight, you know. It's like, you got two kung fu guys, kung fu master, cha 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 cha, doing their thing. If you look at Minnesota, they got Carl Anthony Towns, yeah, they got Anthony Edwards is basically taking over the team right now. But outside of that, they just got a bunch of grunts. Mike Conley's Naz Reid, Kyle Anderson, Alexander Walker, Rudy Gobert. Those guys are just a bunch of grunts that they have on their squad. If you look at Denver, they got grunts too, but they got a little bit more finesse than things. So it's just a nice fight. It's like watching a UFC fight. One guy's more offensively minded, the other guy's good on the ground game, and we're just gonna see who bangs out, man. So, do you think this thing goes 7 games?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think Minnesota wins tonight. Because it seems like from this series, whoever comes out hot early, they run the table. Like the rest of the game, the other team doesn't really get back into it. And so I mean, and look, this is another example. I mean, they're up like almost 20 points again. I think this is a Minnesota game. I mean, anything can happen in the second half, but it just in this series, you haven't really seen a lot of that.
Do you think they bailed out? Because they used to say that about some of the '80s teams. They say like the Lakers would crack the Celtics one game, and then the Celtics would just take their starters out and just let the game go, and then they'll just regroup for the next game. Do you think these teams are doing that?
Oh, I will tell you, if there's a team that in this current playoffs that would do that, Denver's that team. Mike Malone will pull the guys. He's not going to waste an extra quarter of these guys getting rest when he sees that the game's not within reach. Yeah, so I would say Denver is that team that if they're still down by, maybe I wouldn't say less than 15, but if they're down by more than 15 going into the fourth quarter, I can see Mike Malone giving these guys maybe 2 minutes to see if they cut into the lead, and then that's it, pulling them, and that's it. The rest of the 10 minutes, the bench is going to go in there.
Yeah, right now it's a 20-point lead. So I mean, that's still kind of close in today's NBA.
Yeah. There's a lot of time left.
Yeah. So it's interesting, man. To tell you the truth, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? What's funny though? I've been looking at plane tickets, man, for Minnesota. That's how crazy I am. You know what I'm saying? So I got a feeling I got a feeling that the Timberwolves are gonna come out the West. So if we can handle business on our end, man, those tickets to Minnesota, I'm gonna they're gonna be very like tempting to fly out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's interesting. So I'm thinking, I don't know. That's interesting. I've never been. I always wanted to go to Prince's house. I'm just saying.
I mean, the NBA wrap up and then the wrap up, we're gonna do it live from Minnesota because we're gonna be living together. Because our wives are gonna be like,
yeah, get the hell out of here! Don't come back. I'm like,
Oh,
yeah, all
shit.
right. It's gonna be a purple nightmare for me. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, listen, that's a thought. Shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for tuning in. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights in the building. Dwayne Dennis is here. Salute. King Ribby's in the building. Andrew Ward is here. Salute. Robert Woodard in the building. What's good? Space Ghost is here. Salute. Generation JL in the building. Just Nix is here. Salute. What's good? Hope you're doing well. We also got Kerry Cox in the building. Salute. Almighty Finesse. What's good, my brother? Good to see you guys. Lady and the Chef is in the building. Shout out to her and Diva Locks. They had a great show earlier today. Ajay was on with them. They had a really good discussion. It was dope to watch. I was watching as much as I could. I jumped on the train. So then once the signal cut out, it was what it was. Shout out to D-Ras in the building. Salute. Appreciate you. And I think that is everybody. But, also shout out to those who may be watching that aren't in the chat. So thank you guys for tuning in. All right. So, I mean, Denver's and Minnesota is interesting. So your thought is that Minnesota is probably going to win this series in the end.
I don't know. I think so. But I didn't want to look at the Denver tickets because I'm quite sure that I've been a little bit too much. But Minnesota's right there, man. I don't know. I don't just for my pockets. I think I want Minnesota to win because if we go to the finals, man, I know it's fun right now. And playing the Celtics is going to be a lot of fun too if we make it past when we make it past Indiana. But I mean, the finals is going to be another level of fandom is going to be happening out there, man. So I don't know.
I hear you. I hear you. So my question to you is, before we move on to the next series, what's your thoughts on the new face of the NBA, the new Michael Jordan?
Oh, that's sacrilegious, man. Anthony Edwards calling him because I mean, if you're gonna call him the new Michael Jordan, then what we call him Brunson? Because Brunson's the one leading the league and leading the playoffs in scoring. Is he still leading the league of the the playoffs in scoring?
Yeah, he is.
So if we calling Anthony Edwards the Michael Jordan, then what is Brunson?
Well, I mean, I just think in the end, the problem here, the reason why first off, calling anybody a Michael Jordan is crazy, but
Easy, bro.
but I could see that if they want to say that he's the new face of the NBA, he will eventually be what is considered the most talented basketball player. Okay, all right, fine. Because I will say the difference between him and Brunson is that he's 6'5", 6'5", maybe close to 6'6", whatever, but he's 6'5", and he can jump out the gym,
Right.
and he's an offensive dynamic player. But what gets slept on a lot with Anthony Edwards is how good he is defensively. This dude is a good defensive player. I'm not saying he's locked down like a OG or a Jaylen Brown or something like that, but he's a really good defensive player, and his athleticism lends to that and makes him even more dynamic on defense. So he is what you would say is like a Michael Jordan because he can play defense and offense, or like a Kobe Bryant who can play defense and offense. Rest in peace, Kobe. So yeah, I mean, that's why I think that the conversation is happening. But to the other point that you mentioned, it's the first half. Anthony Edwards has 19 points. He's 6 of 6 from the free throw line, 5 of 8 from the field. So he might be in store for having another big game. So yeah, I mean both those guys are like neck and neck. I mean, Brunson has the lead with regards to scoring, but Anthony Edwards has been doing a great job, and looks like he's going to have another good game. So yeah, man. It's just crazy to see, but he looks like he's the next one.
Yeah, God bless him, man. And another thing that he does well too is that he talks the game really well too. Even like before, like he really started to catch fire. Right now, they were just talking about little things like asking him about who's the best player that he played against. He mentioned Cam Reddish.
I remember.
Remember that?
I watched it today, actually.
Yeah.
I watched it like 3-4 times because it was on a loop. Yeah,
Right.
I saw that.
But just the
Again.
way that he talks, like he'll give you a reason. It's not like a sensationalized reason. He gives you like a legit basketball reason kind of thing. And just talking X's and O's too. When they ask him a question, you're expecting to get this wild answer, but he always gives you like straight, he gives you a basketball answer, so which I think is refreshing for him. So it's good. It's good for the league, man, right?
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's a great. What you just brought up was a great example of that, and I was gonna point to that. So once again, Eru, we are right there, brother. Because I was gonna say that something similar to that because of that Cam Reddish, the interview when they were talking about Cam Reddish, because I looked at it right, and because when that happened, this was even a few years back, right? So he was even younger.
Right.
But what struck me from that was not only one, understanding basketball and understanding like that Cam Reddish could ball, but I took one thing from that I thought was really interesting and special that you don't necessarily see from a lot of people. So I forgot the name. Maxie was there, and I forgot the name of the other guy, but I didn't like him because he was on Portland at the time in the summer league and they beat us. He was acting all funky. I hate when people have fun at our expense, but whatever. The point is now he's on another team. He's not on Portland anymore. But he was talking about, I guess they had asked him the question before they asked Anthony Edwards, and he talked about how Cam Reddish lit him up for 44, right? What I thought was interesting is when Anthony Edwards talked about it, he was very appreciative of Cam Reddish's ability and he made sure that it was noticed, but he also didn't want to like uh down his teammates or
Right.
whatever, because he never said exactly how much Cam Reddish put up. He's like, it was more than 40, 44, or whatever, 40, but he would not say it. So I thought that was interesting, because anybody, like young guys, they don't really care. They're just, what, oh yeah, it wasn't me. Because he said, I mean, I was on the team. I wasn't necessarily guarding him, but it was like I was there too. It's on my team. But
Right.
he still didn't say how much. Now come later, because I was interested. I would Googled it. He put up 57 on them. I'm like, oof,
Damn.
Cam is crazy, bro. What happened to that Cam? I don't know.
Yeah,
But
it's about respecting the game. Remember when Cam was on the Knicks, he was like, "Yo, just tell me what to do, bro. Tell me what to do." If somebody that's saying that means that you're not really paying attention. You're out there, you got all this talent. Everybody got talent. Just because that you're nice in your head doesn't mean that everyone else is just going to give you, like all of us, man. Like, just because you're good at what you do doesn't mean that you're going to get the same opportunity as the next person. You have to continue to work and put in that work. And I don't think Cam was really doing that. Maybe
right.
physically, maybe in the gym, but as far as like understanding the game and understanding where he's at and how he fits into this league, he just didn't have a grip on that. Interesting.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Um, so let's see what we got up next, because there is another series, folks. And I personally, I'm a little a little bit surprised. I don't know, maybe I was sipping the Kool-Aid. I thought OKC was like gonna go, like, I don't know what I thought OKC was gonna do. I just thought OKC was like the best thing since sliced bread, because I can't believe how young they are and how good they've been playing.
Right.
But anyway, OKC jumped out to a nice start against Dallas, but eventually Dallas and their veteran play, the smarts of Luka Doncic, and the incredible, like, I haven't been watching the series, I've just been watching highlights. I want to hate on the guy because I don't really like him. Now, I will say this, as a person, his beliefs now and how he looks at the world and all that, I don't care about that.
Right.
And he may be a better person now, but I'll never forget how he treated and how he acted towards the New York Knicks when he thought stuff was sweet and when he was around Kevin Durant. So I still have a level of disgust for Kyrie Irving. But as a basketball player, this dude is a baller. It doesn't even matter how old he is. He's still cooking these dudes. So what's your thoughts on the Thunder and the Mavericks series? Dallas leads 3-2. And game 6 will be on Saturday.
What's interesting with these guys, because they do have Kyrie and they do have Luca, but those are not the guys winning the series, per se. It's guys like PJ Washington, Derek Jones, the Gaffords of the world, Derek Lively, Josh Green and Jaden Hardy. They have a really good supporting cast around those two superstars. So I mean, Luca right now, he got the last game, he had a triple double. He always does that, but he always gets a triple double, always gets 30 points when he needs to, but they lose. Kyrie Irving, he had 12 points, 4 assists, and 2 rebounds, before they would have lost a game like that. But if you look at some of these other, I'm just looking at it now, PJ Washington with a double-double, Derek Jones with 19 points. Derek Lively off the bench had a double-double, and then plus you get any production from the other guys too. Yeah, I can see the assists are pretty good. So they're actually, skillfully, going at this team. So that's the difference. You have to put the right people around those quote unquote superstars, and that's what really wins games. The superstar themselves, once they have that team in place, then they can do their job. But they can't do their job unless they have those other guys, and Dallas has those other guys now.
Yeah. I commented about it a little bit at the trade deadline, but once now that you've had time to see it work throughout the second half of the season and going into the playoffs, those moves that Dallas pulled off were incredible. Like, probably the best moves, second best. I'm going to be a homer, but probably the second best moves in the whole NBA, as far as, because healthy, what the Knicks did with bringing in OG was huge too, because OG all he does is impact winning. So I don't want to shortchange them because that's a very big move. But those Dallas moves have been great, bro. That's very true.
Yeah.
Very true. And look at PJ Jefferson. Get him out of that dysfunction cesspool over there in Charlotte, and look at what he does. You know what I mean?
He always could play. He was a Julius Randle killer, for a couple years or stuff. But I think this year, just being in that situation kind of killed him. And going to
Right.
Dallas, it just makes it so easy because somebody like that, he has the potential to be so much more. But now he's on a team, he doesn't have to. So now he can just settle in, and the little role that he has now is perfect for him. Shout out to Derrick Jones too. Derrick Jones, he bounced around the league, and then now he's in Dallas in the perfect roles, starting small forward there. Same thing with all these other guys. And Gafford is a guy that Mitchell Robinson destroyed. The Knicks destroyed him. We seen him live last year, twice. Hanging out with Sim. On the get-togethers and stuff. And we actually did a live podcast in Washington Wizards. So that tells you what kind of franchise they are. What kind of players that they have there. But like I said, having that trade for him to go to a team that now all he has to do is sit and do his job. He doesn't have to do all this extra stuff in order for you to compete. It's perfect for these guys. So hats off to them. I say this, they're a dangerous team. I gotta say, if they get past OKC, them going against say like a Minnesota, I think that's going to be a very very tough matchup, man.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that because I mean, that the thing that they have that is really important is they've got two closers.
Word up.
You know what I mean? Listen, people sometimes downplay it. Let me tell you something. That's one of the main things that I always said about this Knicks team that they lacked is having that guy. They would play when they had Julius Randle and RJ Barrett. They would play good basketball, and in some of these games going up against like a Kevin Durant, or even when the Brooklyn Nets had Kevin Durant and Kyrie. When it got to the fourth quarter, late in games, and these dudes kept knocking down all those shots, and it's like when you don't have a closer that you can go to with the ball to make sure that you get baskets and make better plays than not. That's the difference between winning and losing.
Yeah.
Now that the Knicks have a Jalen Brunson, you see how much better they are in those moments because we know, we talked about it all the time. Sometimes RJ wouldn't be there, but definitely when Julius Randle got flustered and pressured, he not always made the best decisions in closing out games. So Jalen has been a godsend when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah. The reason why I think Julius had those problems though is because he basically was by himself for the majority of this time. He didn't really have that extra person. So now that Jalen basically, not just basically how things played out, Jalen is now the number one guy. And so Julius, just going back to that that month of January when we were almost undefeated, Julius basically, took a step back. He didn't take all the way back. He just took a slight step back. I'm gonna do my thing 1 through 1, 2, 3, and then in the fourth quarter, we know it's Brunson. It's his turn to get it popping, man. So yeah, man. I wish we had these guys because I'm just thinking about it now. Dallas, the Timberwolves, and you can mention Denver. I'm not really afraid of Denver as much as I am the rest of the guys because, like you said, the closers, they just have guys that we can't guard. I would hate to like have to guard Luka when Kyrie's standing there too. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be definitely hard to deal with that. And then on the other side, we should be able to do our thing, but I just think the defense will be like spent. With having to guard guys like that all for a 7-game series.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah, that's the thing. Like that's why it's a little dangerous. That's why, like when you think about it, I know Denver. If the Knicks can somehow, take care of business with in Indiana and get themselves into a Boston series, if they just play their basketball game, it's a lot of star power over there, but they might be able to outgrit them and pull up the ups. It's an upset because they are better than us technically on paper, and so that would be great. And if something like that happened and they were able to do that and then get to the West, I'll be honest, I'd rather see a matchup of the Knicks versus like a Denver I know Denver's the returning champion, but I just feel like Denver is also in a situation where they don't, even though Jokic is a monster and he'll be tough to deal with and he makes everybody else better. We've seen the Knicks beat Denver with Jokic.
Right.
And he doesn't play the greatest defense. So it's not like going up against an Embiid on that side of it. Like the Knicks guys can still cook against Jokic. So I just feel like that might be like if we had to play Minnesota, now you're dealing with, Rudy Gobert. Or if you're dealing OKC, you're dealing with a team that plays solid defense and they run up and down the court. So you know what I mean? Like there's always something a little different. Like it's like playing Indiana, but also they have defense. So that's the reason why Indiana's not going anywhere in my opinion. But OKC has that same level of offense, but they play defense.
Right.
And so yeah,
the Knicks have problems with guys that have too much offense, like Indiana. That's why we got cracked in that in Game 4 because sometimes we get lost with teams that they could put points up like that. So like I said, I have confidence that we're gonna get past Indiana, but like say like a team like Dallas or OKC, they do the same thing as Indiana, except they have legit guys there. Guys that really could put numbers up. They're just not like role players like Nate Smith and these guys. They don't really have Nate Smiths. They have guys that are better than Nate Smith over there. It's not just a Halliburton, top heavy kind of thing. They kind of they have a lot of talent around their roster, so it's gonna be interesting.
I agree. I agree. So yeah, I mean, with regards to this series, who do you think is going to come out of there? I mean, the Mavs are up 3-2. Do you think that's it? Do you think they fold OKC up, or do you think OKC comes back, maybe forces a game 7?
I don't know. Right now I'm on box score watching right now. So I mean, I don't know. I'm just they got I don't know. They're the same thing. Like you said, they play defense and stuff, so they kind of remind me of the Knicks in a lot of ways because they have the one top heavy guy that scores a lot, and then they have other guys that chip in here and there and stuff. So I don't know. I can't call it. I think Dallas is gonna end up winning that series. I think I got Dallas. What do you think? What do you think about that?
I kind of agree. I was going to say the same thing. I think Dallas wins the series. I just think that you can't give them if you give them any room, you put yourself in jeopardy. And I think OKC already did that by allowing Dallas to go up 3-2. So I think that they're in trouble. I think Dallas is gonna, they've got a guy in Luka, but more importantly, a guy in Kyrie who knows how to win a game, knows how to win a close game late. And that's a problem. So when you're down and you play to a certain point, in the fourth quarter of those type of games is going to get close. And if it gets close, you're at a disadvantage.
What's up with Josh Giddey? Because his minutes has been down in the playoffs, especially this series. He's still getting a little bit of production, but his minutes has just been down. Like he played 12 minutes last game.
I don't know, bro. I think Giddey's problem is, which does happen to certain guys in the NBA. He hasn't improved on offense. Like coming into the draft, he had such high praise for being an all-around type player who do a little bit of everything. But his offense has like that first season, he was like a triple-double machine. And then all of a sudden, as time went by, and I guess defenses started to adjust to his game, they started to challenge him to do certain things, and he just hasn't been doing great at it. He's a liability when it comes to offense. Apparently, that's what I'm hearing because I was watching some OKC podcast. They were talking about it. Like he just doesn't do enough offensively.
That's interesting because there was a point where he was really dictating offense for them. Basically he was their point guard. Yeah. I know for fantasy, he helped me win the championship. Not last year, but the year before.
I believe it.
Yeah,
I believe it. Yeah. I mean, that's what it is, man. Sometimes, these guys, they don't live up to some of the lofty expectations that people and scouts and all these analysts have for these players. And it's always you never know, right? There's always guys. So you got the guys who are bust early. You got the guys who are can't misses early, like a LeBron James. Then you got the guys who are on the fringe, like you don't know, but give them an opportunity, they blow up, like a Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade was highly touted, but he wasn't expected to be a next level star. He was expected to be a good NBA player. He turned into a next level star, an incredible star with a great jump shot.
Right.
So and then you got the last level, in my opinion, is the guys who have two careers. They start off one way and they're very good at what they do. But as they get older, they make adjustments to the game, then they become something different. Those are the Blake Griffins who start off in the league as a dunker. And then as he gets older, the dunking is not as prevalent because, you know, you're like a one-trick pony. He starts working on his shot. Now he can shoot threes. Jason Kidd, a great facilitator, could score in the paint, hit down a little mid-range, but couldn't shoot threes. As he gets older, not only can he shoot threes, he becomes the best three-point shooter in the league. Like stuff like that. So you got them levels of guys. It's crazy. It's wild.
Yeah. Interesting, man.
Yeah. Well, guys, that's pretty much it. That's the show. That is the show. You know, we are at the point where, you know, you got Boston Celtics waiting in the ECF for their opponent between the Knicks and Indiana, and you got 2-3-2 series on the other end in the West with OKC and the Mavs, and also you have Minnesota and let's check the I don't know, what's the halftime score? Minnesota and
They're still up. They're still up by 20. It's on 19.
It's still halftime. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So Minnesota and Denver. And we'll see what happens, man. But hopefully the Knicks take care of business tomorrow like we expect them to. Because they need that time off. They're not going to get a ton of time off, but it's still a good amount. You know what I mean? They play Friday. If they can clear that series and take care of business, you get Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. That's nice. And the Knicks need that.
So if the Knicks clear it off, we can wait all the way to Tuesday. That's when the next round.
No, it starts Wednesday.
Oh my God. Okay, that's good for us because
That's what I'm
OG
saying,
needs
yeah.
as much time as he can get. Yo, that's
Yeah.
one thing too with Boston. We kind of need OG to play immediately. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So apparently now, there's a chance, a possibility. OG has been improving, and hasn't had any setbacks. There's a possibility if the Knicks needed him. I hope they don't and choose to stay away from him. If this went to a game 7, there's a chance that OG could be available for a game 7. But I'd rather them just hold out on on having him appear, and unless it looks like the Knicks, you know, get to that game 7 and we're getting smacked early, kind of like we saw before in Indiana. But this would be at the Garden in Madison Square Garden, so I would stay away from that. But yeah, man, we'll see. And then, you know, you got the 3-2 series in the West, so that could be any of these teams can step up and win 2 games in a row, or just win 1 game to close it out. So we just gonna have to play the, you know, the waiting game and see what materializes, though.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the playoffs, man. You're thirsty, you're looking at the second round, but you're like, we still gotta handle business now. You know, we got a game tomorrow. You know, so man, I mean, it's great for like a basketball fan, you know, because like, you know, I'm a Knicks fan, so I don't care about what the other teams are doing. But now since we're in the mix of the playoffs now. Now I am looking at the other teams. You know, I'm starting to look because I'm scouting ahead. I'm trying to see what other teams are doing, man. So, you know, who do you got coming out the West as far as, you know, this like as far as Western Conference Finals? I say it's gonna be Dallas versus the Timberwolves. And then, you know, what do you think about that?
I think it's going to be Denver versus Dallas.
Denver versus Dallas, okay. And then what
Mhm.
do you think? Who do you think goes to the finals out of that?
Denver.
Denver, okay.
Yeah, because as much as I like what Dallas has been doing, I just think Denver figures out a way to win in the end. They're a well-coached team. They've already been there in all types of pressurized situations. They've got one of the best players in the league, and they got a guy in Jamal Murray who, when he wants to, can look like a great Robin to Batman. And they also got a bunch of other guys in the team that step up, like Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. These guys got a lot of talent. They step up when they want to. So I just feel like they can make it to the Western Conference Final.
With that being said, if Denver makes it to the finals, I think the Knicks got a really, really good chance to compete and win that chip, man.
See, that's why maybe I'm being a little selfish because it's true. I do feel like Denver can get to the Western Conference Finals, but I also feel like if somehow the Knicks could be there, Denver is our best chance. I don't know. No, I think Denver is our best chance because I think OKC is a bad matchup because they're like Indiana with defense.
Right.
And I already said it. The other thing is, Minnesota's got the size and defense from different spots on the court. I think it's very difficult. So, especially now that we're not really healthy. If we were healthy, then I don't care who it is. I think we could take care of any of them.
Right.
But we're not healthy. So
you got to be careful. We don't want to be Paul Reed and stuff like, they're the easier matchup,
No. None of these teams are easy.
But man, the reason why I'm like reacting because I could taste it. Like you can almost taste it, man. Like and we're depleted too, man. We're depleted, so it's like, if we had all our guys, then we could really talk, man. But it's like,
if we had all our guys, Eru, man. Jeez Louise. And can you imagine? This is the last thing I'm gonna say about this. Shout out to my guy John. What's up, brother? He says Knicks wins tomorrow. I agree with you, bro. I agree. And look, D-Ras has Dallas and the Knicks in the finals. Okay, all right. Listen, and deep down, I wouldn't mind that either because I think that would be a hell of. I just don't know if we have enough, but that would be a hell of a get back for the Knicks to be able to beat Luka. For Jalen Brunson's storyline to be able to go against Luka, for the Knicks to be able to beat Kyrie because I can't stand him. Oh man, the storylines would be great for me. So yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, it's a basketball fan's dream right now. What's happening right now in the NBA, I think.
But as what we always do here, one thing at a time. Let's get rid of Indiana and get on to Boston because Boston is no easy matchup for the Knicks. So we'll see, guys. It's going to be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out, but I'm definitely excited. And so if you guys are free or available and interested, in about 6 minutes or so, you head over to the front stoop for the wrap up where we will be talking about the current state of hip hop, right? And also because we haven't really weighed in on it on our side. We're going to talk about this Kendrick versus Drake battle and beef, but not going through diss records and stuff like that. More of the impact of what's come out of this, how this affects Drake, what's next for Kendrick, and also, is the battle over? And if the battle is over, does that mean the beef is over? Things of that. We're going to get into a little something because there's so many levels to what's going on here with this whole thing. And there's a lot of different things that can still materialize, a lot of different implications, if you will, that can come out of this going forward. So we'll see. It should be pretty interesting. All right, guys. Well, thank you once again for rocking with us. Please smash that like button if you haven't already done so. It shows love to the show, shows love to the network, shows love to our guy Simeon Russell for everything he does, and allowing us to be on his platform and rock with him. Appreciate him. And yeah, we'll see. As you guys know, I always say tell a friend who tells a friend who tells another friend. Still, Knicks fans will be back again, whether it be on the NBA wrap up, Thursdays or whatever day we can do it. Know the Ledge on Saturdays 11:30. Or on Mondays for Still Knick fans weekly with my guy John and my brother Jose when he's available. Eru, your final words and what you got going on. And then and Eru's about to go on a little trip. So
yeah, I'm going to Memphis, man. Me and my sister, we're already plotting on which bar we're gonna go to. But it's the thing, like going into another city, we're just like we're kind of like we really don't want to go too crazy, because we don't know how it goes down in Memphis and stuff. But we're gonna have some fun. I'm gonna try to link up with some Knicks fans out there too. So that's what I'm doing. as far as pods, I'm working with Morning Brew, doing pods with him. Ron, whenever Ron calls me, I answer the call to Ron too. So I basically, still Knicks, adjacent. With the
he's a mercenary for hire, folks.
yeah. And then on my channel too, man, I've still been doing watch-alongs, but I've been outside, watching these games live with the fans and stuff. But I got some ideas on my channel too, so my channel's not dead yet. I've still got some stuff I want to get off on that channel too. So just stay tuned for that. Die Hard Knicks.
Yeah, man. Ero's gonna be out there walking in Memphis. It's gonna be beautiful. Anyway, man, I feel bad for you and other Knick fans out there who have enjoyed this time because y'all have made the best of it. Y'all have been to games or watch parties and had a real great feeling of camaraderie and excitement. What are you gonna do when the NBA is over? Like, what are you gonna do? Anyway, shout out to all y'all, man. Shout out to Georgie Ortiz. He says, okay, real quick. He said, Georgie Ortiz, what's good? He said, what's up, Ron? Salute, brother. Did you hear about Green calling us a fluke? I have one question about that. When they had the 73-win season and didn't win the chip, doesn't he think that was a fluke?
Yeah.
Yeah. Eru, you have a quick thought on that?
Draymond Green, he knows the game, but I think he's just trying to get Knicks for clicks. I think he realized that there's something to that, so I just think that's what's happening. Knicks for clicks right now.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't put too much into it. I think a lot of these guys they just know, and some of them just aren't as good at it as the ones that I despise, like the Stephen A. Smiths of the world. It's a talent to be able to antagonize people and get people riled up with controversy and then get them to tune in, right? And so these guys like Gilbert Arenas and Draymond Green, they're new to that territory and they're learning how to do it. And they're smart about it because they know it works. It always works. It's a formula. As soon as you start saying something negative about a team, their fans come to their rescue. And then when you can really dig in, you get the teeth. And that's what they want. They want the views. They want you to come and hate them because it drives their product. So
what drives the product? Try saying Kai Soto 1,000 times and watch all the Filipinos pop out the woodwork. You know what I'm saying? Remember that was a thing? Like all you had to do was like put Kai Soto in the tagline and you would have like 20,000 views on that video,
Yeah, and it's a shame. Shout out to me, the closet Kai Soto fan. It's a shame that he hasn't been a better player because I really wanted him to succeed. I thought he had something. He had some talent, but he just hasn't been able to really maximize and put it all together. So it is what it is, man. But all right, that's it. Appreciate you guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hope we answered your question, Georgie. You know what I mean? Let's go Knicks. Let's go NBA playoffs. And let's go all over to the wrap up over there on the front stoop and check that out in a couple minutes. Bear with us, guys. We'll be over there in a little bit. So if you are interested, we'd appreciate having you guys to chop it up a little while longer. We'll see you soon. We out of here. Let me hit this outro. Boom, boom, boom. Run that.